stay a while and listen.
Good afternoon, my Diablo 2 brethren, and welcome back. Today is the day that we finally venture forth into hell difficulty with my Trapsin. This was a long journey so far, but overall not too difficult. We're now venturing into territory that I have rarely tried before with this particular build. So I've played through Nightmare a couple of times with Trapsins in the past. This is way back in the old days before, really good rune words and before Sunder Charms, obviously. Um, so I'm looking to take her further than I ever have before. I have the experience now playing offline in challenge mode after playing with the sorceress. Kind of know how to do things. I have been toiling heavily over how we're going to build this. I've gone into normal and I've done my first respec, so I saved them all. So I saved the normal and the nightmare. If I brick this one, I got the nightmare one. If I brick the nightmare one, I have the hell one left as well. So we're gonna do a little bit of prep before we get rolling here. Just kind of show you what I have and what I'm working with. As far as gear goes, nothing fancy. I have just a rare set of claws here. They don't do anything. Prevent monster heal in case I need it. I'm going to put it on swap even afterwards, just in case I run into a situation where I got to have that stat. I have basic claws that are the strength tier. I'm actually looking to upgrade this. Believe it or not, I don't have any tier runes. I got the runes and I have 2 socketed claws, but I don't have any tier runes. I went back and tried to do countess a couple of times, just no dice so far. So kind of just sitting on that. That's for 2 reasons. One, I want to get the total 50% crushing blow in case I have to do some melee attacking. Plus, it's going to give me 20 to strength for each one, 10 to vitality for each one, with the goal being that I don't need to put much else into strength. Put it into vitality. I'm not really putting anything into dexterity either, unless the claws require it. I'm really not going for a dexterity build. Helmet is a basic lore, as low as it gets. Only 31 defense. I'm doing it for the plus skills and for the lightning res. If I find a better helmet, I'll gladly wear it. No big deal there. Amulet, another assassin amulet, pretty decent one as far as our resistance goes. I spread some things out there a little bit. Gloves, lightning and fire dual res, plus a wee bit of magic find. Fire res on the ring, and I guess Nago ring. I don't know why I have that on there. Boots are boring. I did the imbue quest with Charcy to try and get some better boots. They were actually worse. It's tough to beat. Basically 40% lightning res, so I kept them. Again, if I find something better, I'll use it. Charms, the only charms I keep are if they are life charms or if they are res charms. Anything else I dumped. Even though they're not optimal sizes, I kept them because I needed them. Some of these I could probably dump off a little bit because I'm going to get a little bit better gear. I'm going to upgrade my armor. I was fortunate enough to find a Lum rune in Nightmare, so I'm going to do smoke armor. I also am fortunate enough that I found a 2-sock dust shroud for it, so we're going to use that to create my smoke armor. So doing that for the plus resistances, I'll equip that in a little bit after I'm able to get my strength requirements. Additionally, I found a 3-socket helm. I'm going to make a bulwark for my merc. I'd been kind of wondering what to put in there. I just happen to have the rules for it. Shale, Io, Ral, or Tal. I got to look it up quick. But I was trying to figure out what's the best one to put in there. I was thinking like either Cure, Bulwark ultimately seemed like it was the best one for him, just because of the the chance to, or not chance, but it lowers physical damage done. So I was balancing that with the Cure and mitigating some of the curse duration. It seemed like just a global reduction in damage seems like better option. It also has life leech on there, so I felt like that's the best way to go. Um, so yeah, Shale IO Soul is what we're looking at here. And so that'll go to Mr. Azrael. I actually don't know if it's Azrael yet. He is Prayer. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up having to dump him. I don't remember where the freezing aura is. I don't know if that's Act 2 Nightmare or Hell, but I'm going to swap that out too. So I need the slowdown in Hell, I think. The prayer, not really going to do it for me, I don't think. Um, so we'll not put anything on him until I get that sorted out. Skill wise, this is where I really thought about what I'm gonna do here, because I was looking back at my sorceress videos and heavily on the fire and then just the cold as a backup worked well, and I don't feel like I had that same level of, I guess, effectiveness with the assassin. You know, by all accounts, she is pretty heavy on lightning. Like that's her sole damage. And I know when you do Death Sentry, it's the fire and physical. But the thing is, if I can't kill people first, then Death Sentry doesn't matter. So it's not like I can rely on Death Sentry to kill lightning immunes, right? So I've been trying to look at this in terms of, without going full on just hodgepodge of skills. My goal here is going to be to use Fire Blast as my backup. So that'll be my fire, and then I'll have Lightning Sentry is going to be my main damage dealer. Now I don't know how good or bad an idea this is, but I'm only going to do a 1-point wonder on Death Sentry. And let me tell you why I'm going to do that. So when we look at Death Sentry, the only synergies it gets are from Fire Blast, which I'm going to use. I'm going to put that up to 18 to not waste any of the 2 points. And then full on Lightning Sentry, which is my primary damage dealer. So Lightning Sentry doesn't get anything from Death Sentry. The corpse explosion is fixed at 40 to 80. It doesn't matter what it's going to be. The only thing that's going to get better with this, with more points, is the lightning damage, which is still not going to be enough to kill them. Like, I was watching this on Nightmare, and spamming Death Sentry traps instead of Lightning Sentry traps was not killing people fast enough. I mean, granted, I was playing on P8, but I didn't like the kill speed that it was offering. So I'm thinking I want to kill people with Lightning Sentry, and then I'll put a corpse explosion out there when I need to kind of clear up some trash. But being that it doesn't scale damage wise really with adding more points into it, it does, but it only amounts to like 400. That's not going to cut it for me. I would rather have that 300 in Fire Blast, to be honest. So we're not going to max this out. We're going to put 1 point in there. Then we're going to max out the synergies for Lightning Sentry and Fire Blast, which they have some overlap with Shockweb and Charge Bolt Sentry. So it stands to reason that we should have a pretty good layout of where our points are going to fall throughout the hell duration here. I also have really sat and thought about Shadow Disciplines in terms of what I want to do here. Quality of life kind of dictates to use Burst of Speed. Trap Lane is based off of Burst of Speed. It's only 1 point. I feel like I can do it. I'm not going to waste a point on Fade. I feel like my resistances are going to be covered with that. I found myself not using Fade anyways, even in the most dire of situations throughout Nightmare so far. So it seems like it's a wasted point. It's going to allow me to have one to justify maybe spending this, 6-banger to put into Shadow Master. Shadow Master is not very strong. It isn't strong at all, but he is a good distraction. I feel like it's worth the cost. Like, I was already going to put 3 in this tree to get Mind Blast. What's another 4, right? So, again, if I brick this one, I'll come back and rethink this. But that's where I'm at right now. and then the rest will go in my trap tree. I had thought about if things get really, really dicey, I could use my last respec and maybe put something in the martial arts if I ended up finding a good set of claws or something like that. But based on the gear that I found with my sorceress, I'm not expecting to find any more gear. Period. I'm relying on the 2 tier runes that I get to make my double strength claws, and that's it. I'm not expecting anything else. I'm hopeful, but I'm not expecting anything else. Okay, so I'm only going to use 18 points into Fire Blasts, not the 19 and 20, because of the one shot for 3 levels here. Those 2 extra points. The amount of damage that they do is negligible since that's not a primary skill. Instead of it doing a little bit more damage, I'll toss a couple more out there to do the damage that I need there. That's the plan for that. So we'll set that one at 18 base to get the hard points for Death Sentry. Okay, 18 base. Put these in here first. Okay, max out. I didn't count out my points, so I don't know exactly where they're all going to fall. I'm going to try and optimize as best as I can. So we got 38 left. That's basically 2 maxing out. That's good. Charge Bolt, Sentry, and Shockweb are both synergies here, so. And I believe they both go on Fire Blast as well. So I guess at level 80, this was a perfect build. I guess I got lucky there. I mean, I just went to level 80 because that's what my kind of standard is for jumping into hell in a situation like this here. I guess the points just worked out perfectly. All right, so let's see what we got here. So Lightning Sentry is 2,700. That's nice. That's gonna do some good damage. Radius here is kind of what I'm interested in. The radius goes up by 1 for every 3 levels is what I pegged it at. So even if this goes up to 20, for example, the radius is still only going to be marginally better. So I'm pretty satisfied with the 1 point wonder here. I'll get a little bit more if I can find some plus skill gear. Shockweb, surprisingly enough, good damage there. I don't know how many seconds it stays out there, 3.6. So I mean that could do some good damage. It throws 17 spikes out there. We'll play around with that. If I can't hit stuff with the sentries, maybe that'll be something that I use. Charge Bolt is nothing, that's just synergy. And then Fire Blast, it does 570 for the floor. I mean, I'll take it. That's got to be better than what my Frozen Orb was doing on my Sorceress. So then I really only have to worry about guys that are both lightning and fire immune. At which point we're gonna hope to heck my Merc can do some damage there. Alright, so I'm going to equip my gear here. And then once I get my gear equipped, we'll pop onto the character page and see what things look like. Alright, I put my stats in, got enough to wear my gear for now. I'm not going to worry about Azrael for the moment. I put his bulwark helm on. We'll call it a day for there. I'll figure out the aura when I get to it. I just want to get into playing and go from there. So as far as my sheet goes, resistances are looking pretty solid. There's a little room for improvement. The one that I'm most concerned with, lightning resistance, is maxed out. As far as points, I saved 50 points as a buffer as sort of brick protection. Pretty standard for what I do when I'm playing unfamiliar guides and I don't know what gear I'm going to get. As far as strength, I went with a base of 66 and a base of 76 for dexterity. Reason being, when I get to these other claws here, I need strength of 76 and dex of 76 to wear it. So I got 66 on the first one. This one here requires only 66 and 66, so that one's covered. When I put on the strength clause, I will get plus 20 to that. So that plus 20 um, will come off of this. Plus 20 will come off to this one. It'll go back onto the previous one with the base strength. It'll give me enough strength for the second claw, and then I'll have enough there to improve my helm if I want to find a better helm. I don't know if I'll need that. More importantly, I think it's going to help me with some high-end boots if I find some like battle boots or something like that, or maybe some gore riders or some sandstorm, something that's got a little bit higher strength requirements. I won't have to worry about any stat points. And then once we get rolling along and I feel like I have the best gear that I'm gonna get, then I'll spend those last few points on vitality. Same thing goes with the gloves. The gloves are nothing special here. If I find some battle gauntlets or something like that, I'll definitely wear them. I'm not gonna get the ogre gauntlets. Definitely not going to do that, but leaving room there for strength needed here too. I don't think I'll find anything else in terms of claws that are going to require more than I can allocate now, and I don't expect that I'm going to change my armor for a while either. I don't think I'll change the armor probably till like Act 4 or 5 like I did with my sorceress. If I find runes for like another Lionheart or something like that, I'll lose resistances again. Again, we'll balance that out when we get there. I don't think I'll find anything better than that. The only thing that I'm uncertain of at this point, like I said, I'm a inexperienced Trapsin player, is I've been debating whether or not Trapsins use dual spirits. So putting on a crystal sword or a broadsword and then using Spirit Monarch as well. I don't know if that's the right path or not. I feel like the spirit of playing the assassin is to use the claws. I like the strength claws because they're super cheap. They gave me a lot of strength that I didn't need to put into, and they gave me the extra vitality as well. And the crushing blow for leading a non-elemental supplement, I felt like maybe that was going to be a good option. If I had 50% chance crushing blow, it's got to be good for something, right? So we'll find out if Spirit's supposed to be the way to go. Truthfully, without a 4-socket sword and a 4-socket shield, it doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going, true blue assassin at this point here. So, anyways, that is that's a look at my setup so far. So, with that said, I guess we go ahead and we jump into it and see how things go. Alright, as I enter the burial grounds here, everything has been an absolute cakewalk so far. So no lightning immunes in the Bloodmoor at all. So I basically killed everything very, very quickly. This will be the first actual test of hell difficulty, which Gulzar's doing his job. That's good. And when he does his job, then Death Sentry can do its job, right? So that's how things go there. Even my Shadow Master hasn't been dying, but without lightning immunity, yeah, things have been going very, very easily. So Den of Evil I cleared in essentially record time. All right, so this will be our true test here with all these guys here. Get a couple of kills if Azrael needs to get his ass out of that corner. Come on. This is where teleporting with the sorceresses really missed. I'm just going to hang out by Azrael here. And we'll throw a few Mind Blasts in there to try and get some corpse. I haven't even had to use Mind Blast at all. Like, nobody even got close to me. So I have to say the one thing I don't like about Mind Blast that I noticed in the real difficult stuff in Nightmare was the fact that your traps no longer hit them because they're friendly, right? Um, that was always tough because you're waiting for them to like come out of the confusion thing. Oh, Blood Raven's not immune, so this should be good. Just gonna try and stun lock her. She's still pretty decent as far as immunity. Just trying to keep her separated from her pack here. Throw some of these things at her. She's so shifty you can't even hit her. If that's as bad as it gets, I know it's not. If that's as bad as it gets, though, for let's say Act 1 and maybe Act 2, probably be sitting pretty. I don't remember how far I've actually made it in the past with my assassins. Obviously, I must have made it this far because this was easy, even with garbage gear, and I'm pretty sure I played it online in BattleNet before, so I would have had at least some gear. So I don't know. We'll jump forward to straight to Andariel then and see how that goes. All right, I know it's only been about 3 seconds, but I figured to give you an update on where things have gone so far. So I was fortunate enough to find another tier rune, so I got my second strength thing. Something that I did not know is that offhand does not count crushing blow, so I do not get 50% crushing blow, which means that dual spirit is almost certainly on the table if I find the appropriate gear for it. Just because, I mean, if I can't get the extra crushing blow, I'm not worried about the melee attacks. I'm probably going to be looking for spirit for the plus skills, to be honest. So I don't know. I also had my come to Jesus moment. It was not all sunshine and rainbows from 30 seconds ago until now. I definitely found my Achilles heel, which is lightning immune archers. In the middle of the tower, I was just going to the tower, and then I got cornered into a spot and just absolutely murdered. It was bad. So I was dead before I even knew it. I was too slow on my mind blast, so after I got my body back and was able to assess the situation, I figured it out a little bit more. Basically, spamming a whole bunch of mind blasts till almost all of them are confused. Took care of the super unique, which was both fire. It wasn't a super unique, a regular unique, fire and lightning immune. So the only way to kill it was with my merc. And so once everyone else was confused, merc went to that person, took care of them. Then I was able to daisy train some death sentries, but between lightning immune archers and those mishappens that are in the catacombs here, who are also lightning immune and ranged, that is going to be my biggest issue. Um, the fire blast works fine as long as I'm not swarmed, but the thing with them being ranged, it's easy to get swarmed even when you're not swarmed. Anyways, let's kill Andariel. Oh, Jesus, a little welcoming committee there. I was not prepared for. I mean, I was prepared, but I was not expecting that. See, that's how everything's been going, except for the lightning immunes. Oh, she's coming out to play right away. I think Azrael's going to be a sacrificial lamb. I don't want to pour a ton of resources into rejuves. I'd like to keep them for myself. So if he doesn't make it out of these first couple, I'm not gonna res him. Just back off a little bit. I won't need much to get her at this point anyways. She's weak to fire, so may as well toss some fire blasts at her. Yeah, easy peasy. Mac and cheesy. becomes you, Andario? I'm just going to retreat before somebody throws a pot shot at me and hits me for 1 HP. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Take a look at what I got, and then we'll move on. Summoning skills? Nope. Amazon skills? Nope. Junk jewel. And another junk jewel. That's unfortunate. My waypoints are really good. So here's the thing. So part of the reason I wanted to do the tower, I was just gonna skip it. Tower is literally right next to the waypoint. Like not even not even an exaggeration. It's literally right here. So tower runs are going to be a thing that I definitely want to do. So now I'm not looking to go back to Nightmare to get the other Merc because that tower position is just too good. So I might try to milk a few runes out of that if I can. There are lightning immunes in there, but I can run by most of the stuff and get to the end very, very easily. So I'll probably do that at some point. The Catacomb 2 waypoint is also pretty good as well. It's a little bit of weaving around, but Cat 3 was pretty much a straight shot too. So I can farm Andario a couple of times if I want to. We'll see how things go. As far as experience goes, I only gained 3 bars, lost 1 bar from the death that I had, so I would have had 4 bars. And remember that the area level of Bloodmoor was already too low for my level, so I didn't get anything for any of the early stuff. So once I move into Act 2, things will bump up a little bit. I expect I'll finish with a little bit more skills and levels and stuff. If need be, I can always go back and do some farming on a higher player count. Being that the lightning was killing them easy enough, once I find a good zone that doesn't have any inherent lightning immunes, I'll maybe do that and gain some more levels if I really need to. Otherwise, things have been going well enough so far. So, gonna get my Merc back. We'll talk to Wareve, and then we'll jump into Act 2. So all things considered, Act 2 is pretty uneventful. So far, up until this very room here, there were no lightning immunes. So I just kind of waltzed right through this. Radament is the only real unique that's noteworthy in Act 2. So in the interest of time, we'll do Radament. And then we will do, we'll just go straight to Duriel. See, he spawned with Teleport. So overall, very non-threatening. The only point of interest to him is he's the first iteration of this kind of a monster, and that makes him somewhat unique, if you will. But otherwise, yeah, very, very much nothing. So we will burn through Act 2. I'll see you in 5 seconds for Duriel. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing unique how we're going to handle Duriel. Loaded up on rejuves. Gonna try and keep Azrael alive. Spam my Shadow Warrior. And go to town, right? That's all I can do. See how he does. Chucked my little fire blast in here. Wish my little Shadow Warrior would survive better. If she could just take a few hits, then that's 1 less rejuve. I don't mind using the rejuves, though. I've saved them up to this point, so may as well use them, right? All things considered, this was a walk in the park. Look at that. I got an essence for my troubles. Not a single town portal. That's pretty awesome. Also, nothing of value. Maybe that demon hide sash. Show you that just so you can see it. See if I got anything. 38 to life, extra gold. I can't drop my cold res at this point here, so yeah, it's a bummer. Anywho, we rescue Tyrael and we head off to Act 3. Before we engage in the council, I had been thinking about how I wanted to monologue my segue into this here. Act 3 was very, very, very easy. There was a lot of lightning immune, but nothing was threatening in any capacity at all. I literally just sat there firing away my little fire blasts. It's like boom, 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 and they just died. So I don't know if it was the lack of uniques and super uniques, if it was the wide open spaces or what, but it was just not a challenge at all. It was like a cakewalk. Something odd happened when I got to Trav though. It was so weird. I got swarmed by these Hierophants, which they're not lightning immune. They're cold immune, but they heal others. And so then there's all these other zealots out there that were lightning immune. And I'm putting traps down, and my traps are getting all confused trying to shoot guys that are lightning immune. And I'm chucking fire blasts at them. And these other guys who aren't getting targeted by my traps are healing. And it's like I literally couldn't kill any guys. I spent like a couple of minutes just in the doorway to Trav trying to kill these guys. It was absolute batshit crazy. I thought it was just a bad mob. Once I got to the waypoint, I actually reloaded because I thought maybe it's just a weird fluke or something. And they were still hanging out there, where it's these zealots and hierophants all kind of banding together, and I couldn't target them properly. So it was taking forever to kill. It was the first time that I really couldn't like make headway in any of these economy free runs. I've never seen it in any of my previous playthroughs where I couldn't kill guys fast enough. I'd never experienced that before. It was so weird that I couldn't whittle them down. It was kind of funny at the same time, but it was stressful because I couldn't couldn't whittle them down. Also, I found myself a nice little shimmering charm here. Happy about that. Um, But yeah, most of the stuff was lightning immune. I know that a couple of council members are lightning immune and a bunch are fire immune. I only ran into like 2 enemies in all of Act 3 that were fire and lightning immune. That was the only time I actually got engaged with the game. Otherwise, it was just run around, spam the Y button, and then that was it. Like I said, it was not dangerous. It was not difficult at all. But on those ones that were lightning and fire, I started spamming the mind blast and got all of their minions to turn on him. It freed up the my merc Azrael to actually poke away at the immune and took care of business. So, all right, let's fire off some traps into Trav here and see where this starts. There's one of the zealots, and there come some other guys. Pretty safe for the most part. My Shadow Master has really been put through the ringer. Has been working very well for positioning and just luring people away. There's these guys. Alright, I'm just going to retreat a little bit because I can't see what's going on. I think these guys are all lightning immune here, and that's what's happening. I just got ganked there. I don't think... There they go. I didn't know if those guys could turn or not. Leave that there. Unfortunate. Couldn't keep my merc alive. A lot of these guys in Act 3 have been really dishing out that amp damage. I don't know how much that's impacting Azrael, but he does seem to die when he's cursed. Feel a little bit more confident now. Should be ISO'd. Put him into stun lock, and then he can't do anything, right? He's already immune, so it's not like I can do anything. Kind of doesn't seem like Azrael's doing much either. He's whittling him down. I'll take it. And then he switches target. What an idiot. Not exactly a team player, is he? Azrael wanders off before this guy's done. Alright. It's interesting because when I did my Sorceress run, it felt like they were all fire immune. I don't know if that was just misconception or what. Now it feels like they're all lightning immune, like they're just stacked up against me. Alright, I think that was like 6 or 7 of them. I should be about done. They did kind of all come out here at once. Maybe not all together, but they still did kind of come after me. Went through all my rejuves, all my mana potions. I got more in the box, but just as far as fight goes. There's some fire guys. Gonna back out of here. Azrael's gonna be dead. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Try and get some cheap hits in there. So I guess that explains why it felt different with my fire sources. Half of them were fire immune, half were lightning immune, and a couple of them were multi-immune. It's just weird that they segregated themselves the way they did. Maybe that's all of them. Quest updated. Still no. Now I feel pretty good about it. Not difficult per se, but challenging. I guess we'll head on off to Mephisto. To put it lightly, Durance 3 was not kind to me. Those guys really were playing gatekeeper to the main causeway there, so I couldn't really infiltrate and isolate. One of them spawned with fanaticism, one of them spawned with conviction, and one of them spawned dual immune. So it was pretty tough sledding for Azrael. Difficult for me, worse for him. So he died about 4 or 5 times. I probably used about 8 or 9 town portals going back and forth. 1 just to position him to get him out of the fight, and 2 just to gain some separation. And finally, I was able to get some of them isolated a little bit. Once I got past the auras, it was, like I said, it was nasty. I'm hoping that Mephisto pays me off twice over for my troubles. Find out, I guess. Be nice if I get a quick kill in here and save Azrael the pain and suffering. Forgot about my fire blasts. Don't even need the moat trick, right? He better drop something. He better drop something. I don't know, maybe this isn't challenging enough to reward a drop. Ezreal, god damn it. And shit. Jeez. That is really unfortunate. Nonetheless, we press on though, right? We press on. So that's it for Acts 1, 2, and 3 Hell. We just got Acts 4 and 5, and then we wrap up the Assassin. Hopefully, Chaos isn't too bad. Um, Same thing with the Throne Room. As long as there's not a lot of lightning immune, I think we're going to be okay. But stick around, find out if I can beat it. And Taro Dune and hail to you, champion. Take care.